I'm Alisa, and I work at the Eiteljorg Museum, and today we're going to talk about beads. Beads have been around for many thousands of years and used by people all over the world. But what is a bead? Well, essentially, a bead can be anything that has a hole in it. So what do you think some of the earliest beads were made from? Any guesses? Probably natural materials. So things like gels, stone, right? Other natural materials like wood or seeds, nuts, those kind of things. Metal, perhaps? Even clay? Right. And what were those beads used for? Well, of course, they were strung onto string, right? For decorative purposes. You could make it into a necklace or sewn onto clothing for decoration. Today, beads can be glued onto objects, right? So let's talk a little bit about trade. Have you ever traded for anything? Maybe you had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and your friend had a bologna sandwich and you traded lunches. That's trade. So when Europeans first brought glass beads over, they were made originally in Italy and then eventually some other European countries. They brought glass beads over and traded with the native peoples for things like furs, right? So the native peoples, prior to having those glass beads, would use all of those natural materials to decorate objects. One of those materials was and is porcupine quills. So I've got a few here to show you how big porcupine quills actually all are. And they're very small. I also have a box that's decorated with porcupine quills. Now imagine, not only do you have to track down a porcupine, remove the quills, but then if you wanted to decorate your clothing or your box or your item with porcupine quills, you would have to dye them, right? If you wanted something that wasn't white, you'd have to dye them. And then you'd have to take the time to kind of stitch them on in any number of ways. This is going to be really time consuming, don't you think? So when glass beads were introduced, they were really popular. First of all, you don't have to track down a porcupine, right? They're pretty lightweight, so you could carry them easily. And they're available in so many different colors. So incredibly popular and still popular today. I'm going to show you a few items from our education collection that are beaded. So first of all, I'll show you these pieces. These beaded pieces go onto a cradle board and kind of wrap around the board to keep the baby in place. But these are beautifully beaded, very colorful, and by a local artist, Miami artist named Katrina Mitten. But look how incredibly colorful those beads are. Here's the bottom part. Just lovely. Amazing what she can do with beads. Those are all stitched on. Another example I'd like to show you. Here's some little moccasins by a Kiowa artist named Kathy Dickerson, and Kathy beaded all along the edge of these beautiful little baby moccasins, but I don't know if you can tell, these have got to be some of the tiniest beads that are available. They're called seed beads. Any idea why that might be? Yeah, I think some of these are even smaller than the size of a seed. But this is Kathy's work. Again, kind of stitched around the edges. And then let's take a look at this doll. So this doll has a variety of different beads, right? We've got some seed beads. We've got beads stitched on to the decoration, just like Katrina's. So she stitched it onto the fabric. We've got beads that are strung onto necklace. We have little reproduction elk teeth. So these look like they may be a little, like a little piece of wood or maybe ceramic to look like elk teeth. But the originals would have been about this size. We've got metal, right? Metal beads. Beautiful doll. And I just want to show you a few other fun little beads. So check out this kind of necklace made out of various, looks like seeds and nuts. Maybe this is a walnut. A bean here, maybe. Got a couple bracelets. So these again are just strung. Beans with a hole drilled in them and strung onto string or elastic in this case. Another one made out of beans. What do you think this one is? This one's pretty cool. Did you guess safety pins? Yep, this one's made out of safety pins. And then last but not least, how about this one? Any idea what these pieces are? Right, they're metal pop tops. You can make beads out of just about anything. That's a little bit of background on beads and the different styles that are out there, different materials you could use, but use your imagination. Look around, see what you can find. Pieces of plastic, maybe a pasta noodle or a straw. Even a piece of paper can be a bead. Would you like to learn how to make paper beads?
So today we are going to make some paper beads. There's a few examples here and we will show those to you. First step when you're making anything is gather your supplies. So we're gonna need scissors, a glue stick, some paper, obviously, since we're making paper beads. You can use construction paper, magazine paper from an old magazine, or maybe if you have a really old book that you don't care about anymore, you can use some of that paper as well. We also need something round and small. So I'm talking like a pencil, a pen, maybe a dowel rod. If you want really small beads, maybe a toothpick, but you should probably start with a pencil. Once you have everything gathered, you're going to take some of that paper and cut it up. It does not have to be perfect. You can see that some of these are not really even. They're just sort of in different shapes. This one's a lot thinner and it comes to a point at the end. And then this one has like a weird V shape in the middle. Once you have any of those shapes cut out, you'll take your pencil and start at one end. Put the pencil at the very end of the edge of the paper and pull it up and start rolling. So you want to kind of roll and pull to tighten. Keep rolling. This is the best part. Roll and pull. Try to keep it even on the sides. Just like if you were rolling up a towel or I don't know, what else do you roll up? Paper, a yoga mat. You don't want it all going off to one side. And then as you get to where the paper changes, you will see that the pattern starts to change as well. So because this one has a long skinny bit in the middle, it'll be thicker in the middle and thinner on the edges. So I have a little bit of a tongue left. This is when your glue stick comes in handy. So you're gonna grab your glue stick and you're gonna put it on that edge of the paper, just that little tongue, okay? And then continue to roll. That is going to keep the bead in place. Okay, here we go, we're almost to the edge. Okay, I like to push it down just a little bit so I make sure the glue is sticking. And you have your bead. Gotta just slide it off the pencil. This can be kind of hard too. So hold your bead in place and twist your pencil around. And bam! You have your very own paper bead.